Hey YouTube, today you get to decide our fate. We're starting another blog and we would like you to help us decide what niche to pick. By the end of this video, you're gonna have a say in what we do next.
And we don't mean like a suggestion.
No.
Like whatever you guys vote in the comments on this video, that's the site
the
we're
one we're
making
doing
first. All right, here we go. A lot of niches could work. It just depends on what you're specifically looking for. So we set out some criteria for what we want the site to do for us. First is turn off your phone.
I know. It's usually Jim. Jim's phone is the one that goes off in all the videos.
If you hear the Office theme, it was my phone. All right.
This time it was me.
The goal is we're going to make a 100-article website. We want it to earn at least $2,000 per month. We want it to be totally passive, and we want to be able to outsource most of the content. So we have come up with a list of 12 contenders. Here they are.
But there are a lot of reasons why not to pick any particular niche. So we want to go through those reasons one by one and hopefully cross a few of those ideas off the list to begin with. The first one is seasonality.
So a few on the list are obviously going to jump off right away. Yeah. I mean, sport boating, definitely short season. Public school alternatives, well, school runs most of the year. People are searching for a school during only a short period. And 3, home water features, I think is really cool, but it also is more summer. And so those 3 you could see cutting out on grounds of seasonality.
But the sport boating is the one where for sure to me it's like, sport boating is something you're only going to do when it's really warm outside. So you have a very narrow window. If it were like fishing boats, it'd be something we'd see
more of the year.
Much more of the year. And so that one to me, I think I'm willing to cross it off the list. The other 2 though, I think there are ways that you can get around the seasonality. Public school alternatives. There is this whole school selection aspect, and that is going to have a short window of each year where people are going to be searching for that. But then there's also the providing of resources to the parents and to the teachers of the public school alternatives. Well, now you've got people that may be coming back to your blog on a weekly basis to get lesson plans and all sorts of other information. And so seasonality doesn't have to be a deciding factor in this choice here.
Same with water features. I mean, they're out for most of the year. You really only have to turn them off when it's freezing outside if you live in a place that does. And even when it does freeze outside, there are going to be questions about summarizing your water feature and winterizing your water feature on the edges of those seasons. I think there really is a lot you could do there. And so with those 3 that are questionable on seasonality, I kind of feel like the only one we have to shoot is the sport boating. Now, to be clear, you can make a very successful sport boating website, but if our criteria is $2,000 a month passively, we could only do that for part of the year, and so I don't know that it quite meets what we're looking for here.
Exactly. The next one is monetization and how well we're going to be able to monetize this website. For me, the one from the list that has the biggest issue is alternative housing. People don't buy a house through an affiliate program.
I wish. That'd be sweet.
I mean, I think there are things you could do maybe with info products, but it's a little bit more of a stretch. So for a passive website, I think we're mostly limited to just ads.
Yeah, I mean, you could do home loan affiliate kind of stuff,
Sure.
But these are people looking for alternatives, probably for a reason. Maybe they don't have a ton to be spending.
Right.
It may not be the most monetizable market.
Exactly.
And so does this one die on monetization? So could it earn to the $2,000 a month? Well, certainly it could. But let's say we write 100 articles, which is in our parameters here, and we want to get $2,000 a month. Well, let's say those 100 articles each produce 1,000 page views on average per article.
That's a goal that we're
really
shooting for.
Meets our goal. Okay, we're there. We got 100,000 page views, but now 100,000 page views with only ads, $20 RPM is pretty tough.
It's a stretch.
So for this, if we're only doing ads, it's probably a stretch for monetization, and so
let's cut that one from the list.
Cut it
All right. The next one is trends and trendiness, right? When it comes to trends, there's a few things that we're looking for here. We've already talked about seasonality here, but when we see something that just like shoots up and then quickly disappears, there are probably several of those right now in the era of pandemics, but every year that happens with toys. I mean, we were talking earlier about my kid was totally into Beyblades for 1 year. Everybody, all the little boys.
Beyblade, let it rip!
When we were kids, Pogs had their session.
Oh, those were cool.
The Gigapets and the Tamagotchis and stuff, and I never got into that, but
no, not my
it
thing.
seemed like everybody did. But that's kind of the like super trendy. But then there's the slow downward trend. And so youth football is the one on our list that has me a little bit concerned.
CTE has not been friendly to American football, and fewer parents are signing up. When I look in Google Trends, it doesn't look like triple threat midnight, but it does look not so good. Yeah. And you could see that over the next 5 years, if it cuts in half again, that industry could be in trouble. And so I think we got to cut out.
Yeah, I think we should cut out youth football.
Next is the niche the right size? So our friend Anna, who's sitting right over there, used to be an on-screen TV journalist. And I think the problem is the niche is arguably too small. For 100,000 page views, I don't know. To me, that's right on the edge.
And this is where we have to look at okay, how many TV journalists are there? And then of that, how many people are starting their career at this point in time?
That are searching
you start
that
to
stuff.
narrow that down further and further and further. And really what you're doing is you're targeting high school to early college age kids who are considering on-screen journalism. It's a tough one.
It's a maybe.
It's borderline. We just don't know what the search volume is going to be for that. I would feel a lot better if it were a career-oriented website. Maybe let's focus instead of one career path. Maybe we focus more on job interviewing, right?
Yeah.
That phase of career prep. And so where everybody has to do that rather than a single really specific, or like you said, pick a little bit broader one. Engineering is so big, so many people doing it.
Make a whole
no
website
problem.
on it.
Journalism, no problem. On TV journalism,
so
little tight.
It must die.
It must die.
Next is what we're going to call lifestyle design. Just our particular parameters if we want this site to be very, very passive. And just how the content is made kind of brings up some new issues. So one there is a website on concrete, which first of all, that's just very interesting. That it's an interesting niche, just concrete stuff, making stuff out of concrete. We have a little bit of an issue there, and as well with pressure washers. If you're doing pressure washers and you want to do that site well, probably going to want to buy 20 pressure washers, really know them, so there's an upfront investment. You're going to have to spend time with these things, store them, etc. So it just depends on if that's the kind of content you're going to want to produce.
Does this topic fit the lifestyle I want to have with my blog? Do I want to put in that kind of investment? Do I want to put in that time to know and understand the topic and create that kind of
Learn
content?
all about concrete and stuff.
For these two, that's not a deal breaker for us. And so I actually think both of those can stay on the list. But there are a lot of you who would look at that and say, I don't want to buy 20 pressure washers.
I don't want to go spend hours learning about concrete. Yeah. All right, next is not beginner friendly. There are actually a couple that you could maybe argue on this list are fine, but there's enough competition that unless you're more experienced with search analysis and you can really find those underserved cracks, probably aren't areas you should go into. So one, for example, I love the idea over here about cooking for large groups. I think that's a cool niche. But cooking and recipes in general are just incredibly overdone. There's so much competition out there for recipes. But if we're talking about large groups specifically, I think you could be very successful. You just need to really know what to look for, what looks like a win in an underserved niche.
Search analysis is one of the most important aspects of being a successful internet marketer, yet it's one of the most, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's one of the skills that people tend to not develop immediately. So once you have some experience doing your search analysis and finding those topics where you can make those inroads, even when you're the new site in a more competitive space, then absolutely something like this is going to work really well.
Search analysis is the whole thing.
It is.
It's if you can do search analysis and you're a good teacher that can explain yourself well in words, it's over.
Done. The next one is outsourceability. I don't know if we made up that word. We probably did. How well you can outsource the content. We said we want to be able to outsource most of the writing for this website. And so I think the one on this list that stands out obviously to me is small business marketing. Getting someone who doesn't do that to write the articles, it's going to be very apparent.
It's just charlatan content.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. I'm tired. I don't want to make that where you're getting a writer that's like, it is beneficial for me to have an article on this, but I really have no idea. There have been times in the past where we've done stuff like that, made sites that we were trying to produce the best content we could, but in the end, I wasn't real proud of what we had because we didn't have the expertise. I'm done with that. I really want to be proud of everything we make. Site relevance. Okay. This is something that I don't think we've covered before on this channel, but it is something that we talk about here. So let's say we made a website on just lesson plans for everything. A lesson plan on beginning photography that a homeschool parent could use, that a teacher in school could use, that a community course could use, whatever, anybody who just wants to learn photography. We've written, actually in a couple different niches, we've written content like this, a lesson plan on painting or photography or whatever. And they did pretty well individually as articles. So it has us interested in making a whole website of just lesson plans on everything. Now the issue with this is, if I make that content on everything, the site is an inch deep and a mile wide. And so in Google's eyes, yes, you're relevant to the word
search.
Lesson,
but
you're not relevant to the topic. You're not site relevant. You're article relevant. And usually I find that the photography site that has an article on a lesson plan beats the just lesson plan website.
Yes.
And so, because they're relevant to that topic. And so I am concerned about site relevancy here. Does it kill it? Maybe. It would just depend on how aware you are during the search analysis process as you're doing that.
The important thing with any website like this, where you're going to be covering a whole bunch of different topics but not going very deep, is just picking and choosing which things you're willing to write about. In photography, good luck, right? Competing with the photography websites. Whereas there are plenty of other spaces where the competition isn't at that same level, where you really could create a 1-hour lesson plan and potentially outrank the existing content out there. So, and I think that if you built up kind of reputation where it became kind of a known brand, no problem.
1-hour lesson on Greek gods and intro to calculus and just so much, it could be really cool.
It has me excited, but again, I think for an outsourceable website, I think that's a little bit tough to do. I think we should take it off the list for today.
All right, the next one is regionality. And that's one where I look at this grass website. So at first, I liked the idea of just grass as a niche site, kind of like concrete. But the more that we talked about it, you realize, grass in Idaho works different than grass in Arizona, works different than grass in the UK. It's just, there are differences in how you talk about it, in the seasons and temperatures, type of grass. And so I don't think that's the right way to cut up a lawn and garden website. I'd be more excited if this is landscape design or something like that.
Right.
But grass, I think it's too regional to get large swaths of people coming there. And so I think we should kill it.
We've narrowed down our list of 12.
We're down to 5.
5 different ideas.
So these are the 5 that you can pick through. So make your comment below. Pick from one of these 5, I would hope, of which one you want to choose. So the rest of this video, we're going to kind of turn into a sales pitch of what makes us excited about each one of these. And you can tell us which one you want us to go with.
So the very first one, public schooling alternatives.
I feel like we need some music going on and be like, this is an amazing niche. You'll make abundance.
Public schooling alternatives. I'm excited about the potential for info products. I think that you could do a ton of awesome free lesson plans here.
Everything in that lesson plans, you could just include here too.
Absolutely. And I think that you could absolutely have things that are up a level, that are paid products. There are some people out there making just boatload of money selling lesson plans, coaching plans, all sorts of things along those lines. So that has me really, really excited. It's not ultra passive, but I think you could make info products that are that one-off type product that could be relatively passive.
So if it's schooling alternative, the domain name that we came up with is betterthanpublic.com. If this is like targeted to homeschoolers and charter schools, private schools, like that kind of crowd that's looking for this information, Better Than a Public School,
There's
I think is kind of
also
cool.
a huge opportunity right now. The pandemic has just shifted so many people away from public school because of all the uncertainty and everything going on there. And so homeschooling is just taking off right now. So there's this huge upward trend. Yes, that huge uptick, it will die off. But long term, this was already an upward trend. And so I think there's just a huge opportunity there right now is, let's just go on it while it's exploding.
Option 2 is the water feature website. The domain name that we found that I think it's a pretty sweet domain name. We already bought these, by the way. Liquidfeatures.com. That's cool. I like liquid features.
Because then you can make water features and you can make milk features.
Beautiful.
Beer features.
I mean, if you leave your cereal out long enough,
it becomes a liquid
milk
feature.
Yeah. Okay. I like it because it's totally evergreen.
Yes.
It's not going to change a lot. You can do affiliate for $200 water fountains and pumps for ponds and stuff. It's pretty cool. Little concerned about outsourceability here, but there's some pretty cool stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, the pumps that are available to buy are not going to change that much. I mean, the technology is not advancing quickly. And so you set your affiliate links and you don't have to worry about changing them and updating them every 3 months. Very evergreen. The next one, concrete. It's funny how excited we are about the potential for this website.
I like it because it's weird. Who makes that niche?
There's a lot of unknown in terms of how that sort of niche site is going to perform. And so we like it mostly because of the challenge. I don't think we'll have any trouble with monetization. I think there's affiliate products for the people that are in the DIY stuff. Maybe we can get sort of an affiliate deal with Angie's List or something.
Yeah.
Concrete, people that are doing concrete projects typically have some disposable income. And so ads could do pretty well. Homeowners, exactly. Because it's homeowners, ads might actually do pretty well like they did back on Camper Report. And so you could be looking at a $20+ RPM just in ads. So I don't think we're going to have any trouble meeting our goal.
Yeah, how to fill cracks on your driveway. How much does it cost to put in a patio by yourself? Can you do there's so much you can do. I think it could be kind of cool. All right, the next one. You are excited about this.
I'm very excited about.
You better take it.
I bought a pressure washer. I've used them many times, but we finally, actually, it was my mother-in-law needed something washed, and my brother-in-law was like, "Do you have a pressure washer?" I was like, "No, but I'll have one tomorrow."
Honey, I need to go serve your mother.
It was finally an opportunity where we needed a pressure washer, and I went out and bought one.
This isn't about me.
This is
about your mother.
We got home.
Trying to help here.
And I was like, I just need to test this thing out, right? And I start cleaning the driveway, and my wife comes out, and she's mesmerized watching me pressure wash the driveway. And then she's like, "Can I do it?" And I was like, "You bet, you go for it." And now, she loves it too. And this is another thing that got me super excited. There's this YouTube video, there are numerous ones, but there's this YouTube video on a channel with less than 90,000 subscribers, a 1.5-year-old video with more than 2.5 million views on this video of a guy cleaning a driveway. That is literally the whole video. He's not even talking to you. There's music playing. That's totally irrelevant, by the way. And he's cleaning a freaking driveway, and 2.5 million people have watched that. And so I actually think it's interesting. People will want to watch videos. So I think this is an opportunity for a 52-24 type challenge where you just create a bunch of content and you put out a video a week. And then I think there's a strong push to the website where you review the pressure washers and where you can make some awesome affiliate sales. If you're like, "Hey, I've tested out 20 pressure washers. These are the 3. This is the big one. This is the medium one. This is the budget one. Buy one of these 3. I think you can make a strong affiliate push to just a few products."
Plus, we found a sweet domain name, turnupthepressure.com. That's
It's a little
cool.
long, but I think
like
it's
it.
so memorable that I think I'm cool with that. I love it.
The last one is cooking for large groups. We mentioned cooking is difficult, but this specifically, cooking for large groups, there's more of a market for. It's probably down hard during the pandemic, but it'll come back, right?
Yeah.
And it'll take time for the content to grow anyway. So I did a little search analysis here, and I just searched cooking for 100 people. The first result is horrible. It's like a 1990 website. It's not even mobile friendly. It's not secure. And the content was really, really poor. That was the number one result of how to cook for 100 people.
For the
people that are
biggest
cooking for a
search, yeah.
wedding reception, for church or civic organizations or things like that. How to make a pancake breakfast for large groups, and you give them their game plan of what to do an hour before, make the batter, and like it would be a really helpful website. Plus affiliate for like those big trailer flat iron grills and stuff. Like,
All the big stuff.
I really like that one. You'd need the the huge cooking pots if you're doing chili for large groups.
Big griddles.
Affiliate could do really well. I think it's an underserved market in a larger, very competitive market. I think it could be cool.
Awesome domain name. This is kind of silly, but cookforfolks.com.
I love it. That's great.
So now it's up to you. You decide which of these 5 websites we have to make next, or we get to make next, because I'm actually excited about every single one of these.
So make it, put it in a comment, and we will be pinning a comment 24 hours from now that says which site was your choice. We're going to total up all the comments. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Okay. So